enjoying my sabbatical so much that this feels nervous. I'm not even sure what I'm going to say throughout this video. It's going to be chaotic, but it's going to be good. That is my intention. Speaking about intention, my intention today is to talk about afternoon tea, something that you know I love, and to talk about my sabbatical. I want to share my journey, and you know I like talking about food and eating it as well. So here we are. But let's first start with one of my hacks, one of my mind hacks. When you live on this little island, you are well aware of how crazy and psychotic the weather can be. One of my hacks is to not complain about it. It's just to accept it. It is what it is. Those who get it, get it. Those who don't, let me explain myself.
Nobody complains about the weather like the British.
That's all they talk about. It peppers every conversation. Every conversation. The matter is quite dull. In my humble opinion, like complain for how long? Like it's never gonna change. It's always been like this. It's gonna be hot, it's gonna be rainy, it's gonna snow all in one day. Why are we still talking about it? Why can't we just let it be? You know? So yeah, I do not complain about the weather. It's something I'm actually really proud of because it takes a lot of mindfulness. I just accept it. It is what it is. Dress accordingly and we move. So now let's talk about the meaty part of this video, and that is my sabbatical. Let me share my why in a hope that I will inspire another human to be audacious and brave and curious like me. I repeat, sabbatical. It's such a big daddy word and I absolutely love it. But today morning, was it today morning or a few mornings ago? I realized the power of giving a project or a season in your life a big meaty name. You know, there's just something, it kind of baptizes it and can set you up for a lot of success. Now what I'm doing essentially is taking time for myself and buckling down into my studies and really focusing towards my path to be a holistic esthetician. Calling it a sabbatical just took it to the next level, and I cannot explain to you the level of discipline and structure using that word has given me. At the point of filming this video, I am halfway my sabbatical. It is utterly glorious. Have I already said that? I don't think so. Glorious. And I know it's going to end in a way that's going to utterly surprise me, because already it's surprising me. It's just such a big bite that I have taken, and I feel like I'm capable of chewing it, and it keeps surprising me. Let me tell you the level of sharpening that has happened over the last, what is it, May, June, July, about 9 weeks, 10 weeks, baby. I've also spoken about discipline quite a lot on my channel. I feel like this is a word I've used a lot. It is incredibly important to understand what discipline means for you and how you can use it as fuel, as inspiration, as a way to sharpen yourself to be a better version of yourself. Not necessarily the best version, because you know when we say the best version, that means you've ended the journey, and we all know the journey does not end. So discipline is just something that is so dear to my heart and something that I am constantly cultivating. And that's another thing that this sabbatical has helped me to dig a little bit deeper with and understand a little bit more on a very practical, mental, emotional level. And I just love it for me. We live in a very productive, driven society. We have to do, go. And it's very easy to feel like you're not doing enough, especially with social media, especially with all these metrics of success that are out there, it's so easy to feel like I'm not enough. But if you know yourself and you love your relationship with discipline, you have developed a relationship with your outside world and your inside world, and accepted that everything will happen when it will happen, and you just gotta do your work and let divine surprise you and guide you where you're supposed to go. The level of your discipline, the crispness, I like that, let's say that, the crispness of your discipline will remind you that you're good, to stay in your lane, to either continue sprinting or jogging or sit down, and you be comfortable with all of that. Sprinting, jogging, or sitting down. You won't be worried about how other people are running their race. I love it for me, as per usual. Right, let's talk about afternoon tea. Afternoon tea has got to be one of the best things about this little island. And quintessentially, what I have done today is absolutely not afternoon tea. Down below, I am going to put a few resources for those who care to read about what the traditional afternoon British tea looks like. I'm also going to link a channel I really enjoy watching. His name is Kevin Lee Jacobs. He does a lot of afternoon teas, and he has this really old school British soul. He really honors and loves the afternoon tea with all of him, and I feel like he always tends to take the traditional route. He's quite the baker. He's rather enjoyable to watch. He's also a man of incredible discipline, even though he makes it look like it's all very easy. Watch him, linked down below. But like everything in life, the British tea has been brought into modernity. And if you go out there to many establishments and restaurants, there are many variations of what a British tea looks like. I mean, the list is endless. Once again, I am going to link a website down below where you can explore different afternoon teas. Fantastic. That way you don't have to go hunting for a restaurant. Quite a few restaurants and hotels, establishments have put up their afternoon tea on this website, and you can have a good peruse. And if you've been here long enough, you know I like to take power in my food story. The afternoon tea is something that I have thoroughly enjoyed. I have no qualms about how much it costs. I have had £10 afternoon teas, and I have had £80-90 afternoon teas. I am still hoping to have the big tea at Claridge's on the to-do list, taking advantage of the power I have in my food story. As you know, I am quite competent in the kitchen. Now, it is quite a feat to put everything together. Step one is to start with a plan. Today, I should have started with a plan. I wish I started with a plan, but I assumed I was okay. I shouldn't have assumed. So, write out your menu. Write it out. So, I wrote out my menu today morning, and I realized I did not have any clotted cream, because scones and clotted cream are very, very classic of the British tea. And I told myself, let's just throw that out. Let's bake some bread and go old school and have some peanut butter and jam on that baby. That's what we're doing with this tea today. Another one of my hacks I have been thoroughly enjoying during the summer, which is rather new to me because I'm very mindful about sugar, but during my sabbatical, I allowed myself to just loosen my structure a little bit. Pleasure is a part of the sabbatical. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. I had some cookie dough in the freezer. This is something I've been doing. I have quite a few batches in the freezer. Today I took out these sesame biscuits. They are rather lovely, very crunchy, but a touch too sweet for me. So there were the one batch of cookie dough that I did want to remove from my freezer, and that's why we baked them today. They were the first thing that I had just before I really put together my tray of food. I had my biscuits, my tea, a little bit of chocolate bark, and I was lucky to catch just a bit of sunshine, and sit out and just gather my thoughts and enjoy my life. You know, we love a good moment. We absolutely love it. Now let's quickly talk about my how. How am I doing my sabbatical? I found an article online. Once again, I will link that down below. And I used it to structure my sabbatical. I also consulted with my therapist because I wanted to make sure that this sabbatical was not just for the mundane, was not just for my journey towards being a holistic esthetician. The word here is holistic. You know, holistic is the whole circle. I wanted to make sure that mind and heart is also involved in my sabbatical. So the topics I picked all touch everything I have just mentioned, you know, my mind, my heart, my journey. And every week I have had a dedicated topic to focus on. And, you know, I'm really humbled that I'm able to do something like this. I acknowledge my privilege. I acknowledge my audacity. I acknowledge my right to all of this. We thank the heavens that watching over me and sprinkling me constantly. There have been some weeks where I thought I'm not gonna get through this. I cannot do this. And I've gotten to the end of the week and realized, girl, you have actually done it. It didn't go the way you thought it was gonna go, but you still did it. You still smashed it. You still like how it looks. The power of intention and the power of letting go of control. We can't control all the details, but if you move with powerful intention, it's gonna fall into place. Period. It's just going to fall into place. As I had said, there is a lot of pleasure in this. There is supposed to be a strong element of pleasure and rest in a sabbatical. It's not necessarily about study, or work, or climb up a mountain and cut yourself from the world. And I chose to approach that with the guidance of my therapist. You know, I have loosened my structures around my home. I am a proud housewife. Running a household is not easy. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is like running a ship. Okay, and I run a tight ship. Okay, a good ship. And I decided to loosen those structures because being a housewife is not an identity. It's just a skill set. For me anyway. I know for other women it is, and they absolutely love it and adore it, and we all know it has now become a niche in content creation. But for me, being a housewife is not an identity, you know, and I think for some time I thought it was. And with this sabbatical, I'm letting that go. You know, it's just an amazing skill set for me anyway. For me, it is just an amazing skill set, and it is not my identity. I've also been taking lots of walks, you know, getting out of the house. This year I realized how heavy winter is to us. We spend such a long time indoors. Our winters are just far too long, and I know we don't have the harshest winters in Britain, but dang, I'm an African. I was born in the sun. Yo, it's just so much. So I have been dedicated. I have been having walks in the park. Absolutely beautiful. Sometimes I've even taken a flask of coffee or tea, my biscuits, my books, had a walk, sat down, come back home. I'm not playing. I'm outside. And you know, when we say outside, people like to think we're going out for a party, we have to be at a restaurant, you know, and all those good things. All those are valid, but I kept it simple. I just went to the park. park, and I'm gonna keep going to the park until I cannot go anymore. I keep asking myself, can I keep this up in the winter? Can I go out for walks in winter? We'll cross a bridge when we get there. There are other things I have been doing to, add the rest and the pleasure element to my sabbatical, but maybe we'll revisit them at the end of my sabbatical. I would love to do another video at the end of my sabbatical just to, tie things together. Let's get back into the tea. One thing about afternoon tea is, for me, it's essentially segregated into two categories. There's sweet and there's savory. What you do with those things, that's your business. Have fun with it. Now, I really like my savory situation. Just ribbons of cucumber and smoked salmon. I still haven't figured out what to call these. Skewered into a toothpick. Sprinkling of sea salt works beautifully. The other day I was in the supermarket and I saw mozzarella and I thought, mozzarella, tomato. It worked beautifully. Then with all my afternoon teas that I have done at home, I've really liked the idea of having a roasted vegetable or a pan-fried vegetable, really spicy, just something simple on the side. It doesn't have to be complicated. I also did not want to be slaving in the kitchen to put this together. So today's afternoon tea features some pan-fried green beans covered in my gorgeous homemade chili oil. That chili oil comes from a level of hell that only a few chili connoisseurs go to, such as me. Okay, I do like to have something very spicy with my afternoon tea just to balance out everything, because afternoon tea can be quite heavy and bready and sweety and quite dense. I just wanted something to really pick up and fire up my digestive fires, and that's why that is there. As for the sweets, there's nothing new here to talk about. I am quite the experienced baker. I can do anything in this space. As you noted before, I did my sesame biscuits. I've got some fresh bread, which I am going to be going in with peanut butter and a homemade plum compote. I could have done jam, definitely, but it's about that extra intention, that extra zhuzh. Doesn't it look gorgeous? I think it does. And last and certainly not least, I did have my chocolate bark in the morning with my biscuits first thing, but I've decided to put down a bit of crystallized ginger, one of my favorite treats, something I have to be mindful of because of the sugar, but it belongs here just for that extra spicy kick and to balance out everything else. Usually it takes me a couple of hours to put this together, but it's, as I said, it's not something that I rush to, and it's something that I do for me. So once I place everything on the breadboard, I just cover it with a cloth and graze away the whole day. Now, it's time for the cocktail. I belong to that club. Afternoon tea is so well-rounded with a bit of something, just a little tipple, nothing too wild. Today, I am going to be making one of my favorite cocktails, the Black Velvet. It is so simple yet incredibly classy. I will link down the recipe and the story behind it. I absolutely love the origin story behind this cocktail. Let's put it together. feel like this cocktail is one of those cocktails where you will either love it or hate it. I like to see this is somewhat of a bullish way of enjoying the sophistication of champagne love. Oh, and shout out to this beer. I always buy Guinness, but you know I like trying new things, and I saw this in the supermarket and I thought, okay, let's try it. Actually really good. If you like Guinness, if you like a nice dark stout, this is nice. It says it has notes of chocolate and espresso and all those things. Yes, you can definitely taste them. This is really, really nice. So I'm going to enjoy this cocktail, carry on with the rest of my day, and I'll see you soon. Beloveds, the day has come to an end. Tea has been glorious. My sabbatical is going good. That's all I can say for now. You know, it's really going good. It's going better than I thought it would. In fact, it's making more sense than I thought it would. When I began this, I thought, who the hell do you think you are? And then there was a voice that just said, girl, you are who you are. You better put one foot in front of the other. And that's what I did, and here I am. My intention is that we catch up at the end of my sabbatical with another video like this. But until then, I want to thank you so much for being here with me. My name is Ijoma, and I'll see you soon.